This video is going to be shaky cam deluxe, so I apologize in advance. It's just kind of an update what I've been doing. Instead of cars, I kind of got back into firearms. I'm married now, so I can kind of do that as long as I register my guns on to post, because I live on post now. So it's cheaper to be into guns in a way than it is to race cars, but I'm still going to build my, I have that one race car and that one street car that I post videos about, and I still am gonna do race car stuff. I just kind of put it to the side for a little bit so I could do it the right way, because I've got to build a motor, I've got to go through a transmission, I've got to go through basically the whole car and get it to run before I can really build it up like what I want. Plus I just moved here to the new post, and I have to I don't even have a household items that I had at my other place. So I've got to set up my household items. Plus I got to go over all my household items, make sure I have everything I need to even start, and then I can start. And for now, I kind of got back into firearms because I wanted to teach my wife how to shoot rifles and handguns and stuff. And I had a little bit of scratch left over from basically a period of Army service that I was essentially sitting on my hands per se. Not exactly, I did work, but I didn't do anything civilian wise, if that makes any sense, you know. So I was able to save some money up. So then I went out and I came back home early from that period because I was away overseas for a little bit, nothing serious. So yeah, last year I went overseas, came back, was able to save like $8,000, and instead of spending my money into something wise, I blew it basically. So I was like, you know what, I got this amount of money. I've never had this amount of money left. I never had $8,000 to my name. Let me get my last set of fucking weapons I'll ever buy. Then I'll stop buying guns. I'll just buy the stuff around the guns. And I'll actually get some experience on the firearms. I won't have to, like, you know, hodgepodge stuff and not be like any kind of trained with it. Like, I know my stuff. Then if I buy one thing, eventually through my life, I'll learn the shit out of that one thing. So I turned around and I spent a bunch of money on some firearms. I bought me 2 firearms, and I bought my wife 2 as well, but she had a 3rd one already. I bought myself, I don't know if you can see this quite right. I bought this PSL, brand new. Yeah, here you go. Oh, come on, focus. Yep, you can kind of make it out. Yeah, there you go. 2021 barrel snapped PSL. Brand new Sensi arms. And the reason I went with this one for my end-all be-all rifle, and I know it's a civilian one because it doesn't have, you know, the bayonet lug and some of the military features on it, but it does what I want it to do. And then I got this scope with it, you know, the typical illuminated red 4-power turret scope with a expanded bell on the end of it for sunshades, and that's supposed to have a rubber piece. I have the rubber piece, I just have it off because, you know, I wear glasses. It doesn't really work well with me. I bought that, and then I bought, because I gave my one pistol to a friend of mine, and I need a replacement because I only let myself have one pistol in general that I actually bought, because I inherited a couple of pistols, but, like, you know, I don't consider that. I actually bought this psl-54, and that's one of the videos you'll see on my channel here. Is, and I don't take this channel too seriously. I just do it for fun. I don't really have any views, but it don't matter. I still want to put the stuff out there. It's for myself, not for anybody else. But about this FNX45, they had a tan one there, and a black one there at the personal exchange there on post of the last post. And then when I went to back and grabbed this right after buying my wife's one thing, her last handgun, or last thing I bought her, it was a handgun, but it's one of those handguns with the folder brace on it. It's a CZ Scorpion S1 Evo or whatever. and it's got the 7-inch barrel with M-lock rails and stuff on it. But anyways, after I bought that, I went straight to the PX and bought this. And I wanted the tan one because everybody always has the tan one, but then they only had the black one left. So when I bought the black one, I'm like, it really honestly is, from a civilian perspective, it makes more sense. And I shot it like, not even 100 rounds to it, but I shot it, and that's why it's got the thing off, or the cover off of it, because I had bought a Delta, Leopold Delta Point Pro or some shit, the QDP quick point Pro or some shit like that. I bought that for cheaper than an RMR at the gun shop local to me, and I paid $500 for it. I tried going to mount it on and it didn't work, so I'm gonna end up using that Delta Point Pro or whatever the fuck, the Leopold red dot for my wife's CZ. So it's in her shit's actually in the CZ. This thing's pretty fucking sweet, but I don't really want to shoot it much until I get it set up how I want. Basically, I want RMR, one MOA RMR on it. I swapped the back grip up for the humped one with the slats in it, and it holds 15 rounds, and it's got a threaded muzzle and got real nice sights on it that are still within their half-life. So it's brand new produced. I bought this, and the reason why I bought this is because I wanted a semi-automatic sniper-like, but not really. Anything that I would need it to do, it'll do. If I need to take out any kind of animal, it'll take it out in general. If I need to hit any kind of target at any kind of distance within reason, it'll do it. It just ain't gonna do it on the first shot exactly. It will, but you gotta be really good with it. It's a nice little piece here. It's just, your regular old AK type design. The reason why I got this is because I had this Mosin here already. This M44, and I believe it's a Hungarian. This thing's special to me. Oh, I'm trying to do this one-handed. Yeah, what? Yeah. Hey, look at that. Anyways, I had this already. And it's the same caliber as this is the same caliber as the PSL, so I'm not gonna buy a bunch of different calibers. It'll reach out to whatever I want to do, and they got a bunch of different ammunitions if I want to shoot something kind of special. And it's a good caliber for accuracy because, in my opinion, it's a good caliber for accuracy because the rim. Let's see here. Got this little man purse thing. I'm not working on anything. I'm not going to chamber any rounds, but that's a rimmed cartridge there, being the Mosin cartridge, and a lot of people are familiar with it. You probably are too. The actual thing of it is that thing doesn't grab onto a rimless groove in there that's made of the case itself. It grabs on the rim. So what it affords it is these cases internally, about right there where my thumbnail is, that's all head. That's all part of the stamping in the steel for the steel case. And that's all basically cartridge. And then from there down, basically where the lacquer changes color there, with that little line there, is where the case actually starts to have its internal volume. Now, on some rifles, if it's a non-rimmed cartridge, that little head area there where it starts to form the internal volume is unsupported by the actual chamber walls. There's a very slight amount that the cartridge is actually containing all the pressure itself, and nothing's actually holding the pressure but the brass or steel, whatever the cartridge case is made out of, in there. With this Mosin caliber, this actually faces and head spaces off of that rim, kind of. Mostly the rim. So what it does is it shoves that little spot into the chamber and supporting that round. I've noticed that before. Now, have I messed with it recently to re-notice that? No, but when I used to shoot, I had a 9130 back in the days where I got one for $200 and I was paying $100 over price. It was reloading this a bit, and I noticed that, it actually, it sizes more than your 30-06 8mm Mauser and so on and so forth. On your sizing dies, when you're reloading it, it comes up more. It doesn't come up necessarily all the way because you still have the rim has to enter into the shell plate or shell holder. So it still has a little bit there, but it generally will get all of the unsupported, what they call unsupported case size down back to nominal dimensions. So that lends it to more uniformity, and as you know, accuracy isn't necessarily hitting the target each and every time. It's about consistency, hitting in a certain spot at the same time, so that way you can compensate for where it's hitting to where you want it to hit. Accuracy is a function of the round, the capabilities of the round, the rifle, and the shooter interfacing with the rifle. But I bought this PSL because I figured, you know, I want me a scope semi-automatic rifle that's practical but yet accurate enough, and I wanted something that wasn't complicated on the scope system. That's what I wanted. As you can kind of tell, if it'll work here. See that sighting system. Ooh, it's a little bit difficult doing this through the camera. And see, it's got a bunch of chevrons and steady lines and just a bunch of common sense lineage. It's not a bunch of Christmas tree information, too much information going on inside that scope. It's just simple. And it's only a 4-powered scope. It's not adjustable at all. You just, what you can see is what you can see. You just take it or leave it, you know. But it is illuminated. It's got a AA battery here for this. You push it down, turn it, and a AA battery, one AA battery fits in there. And this, it says the negative end of the battery goes towards the cap. Then this is your flip switch on and off, and it illuminates red inside of there. You don't even need to, yeah, see, you see that glint? Oh, yeah, oh, yeah, see how it illuminates in there? It illuminates red in there. So, you know, in low light conditions, you can run it just fine. So, you know, that's directly opposed to the American non-com black stuff. You get an aftermarket scope, you know, non-military that is kind of military. You're gonna have to worry about your zoom. Your adjustable zooms will not, the reticules are not etched into the glass. So therefore, when you go from seeing a fist this big to seeing a fist, you know, this big, or oh, no, opposite of that. When you see a fist this big and then you zoom on and then you see it right here, your reticle won't actually grow with the image. It'll just stay the same, which means you can't actually measure the distance to the target or have any kind of consistency between varying optical conditions, you know, as in the different zooms. And I didn't want that. And to get that, you know, where the image is between the scope and the target is the same, it's just you're looking at it at a different perspective, you know. Those scopes are abhorrently expensive, and they're very difficult to find what I personally want, because I only wanted like around it. I didn't want a bunch of zoom because I was watching some other YouTube channel, T-Rex, it's Tauflator Rex, or no, not Tauflator Rex, Tiberius Rex or something. He's got a couple of videos about sniping and what to choose for sniping stuff. They're old by now, but they're still there. But he was saying, if you get too high power of a scope, you're going to see nothing but mirage, and it's going to throw your image off, and you don't really want that. So I was like, well, I just want something simple. And so I was like, I want something simple in the same caliber that I already have, so I don't have to stock a million different calibers, because then that's a logistical nightmare. Plus, I want something fairly easy to shoot. Like, it's not going to be like a 50 BMG. If I were to get a 50 BMG, I would have had to have watched at the ranges, which ranges I would have been allowed to shoot at it, because a lot of ranges, it takes like 3 or 5 yards maybe even of backstop to stop a 50 bullet. You know, it's a lot. And a lot of places won't let you shoot it. Plus, each bullet costs you, you know, each bullet costs you like $5-10 depending on what it is. And look, I weaseled my way into some of this in today's market, and today's the 26th of June of 2021, and he priced it for $30 a box. That's not the worst. It's not cheap by no means, but that's a lot cheaper than 50, and it'll get out to the ranges I need it to get out to, you know, and it'll do it with some authority, you know. It's not like some wonder cartridge, but it's well enough respectable. So what I've been doing is I bought this, and what I've been doing is I moved, and I found they had a 700-yard range out here. So what my whole goal is, since this is a fairly new rifle for me, I want to be able to reload for it, but I want to see what this particular barrel likes to stabilize. So what I've been doing is I've been buying up a whole bunch of different loads, and as you can see, I've already shot a lot of this, and you know, of course, the 150 grain PPU stuff, that's worked the best so far, but that's what I baselined it at. So, you know, that's what I've been doing, is I've been shooting it 100 yards for a baseline, because that's a good yardage to get out there. It tells you a lot. I'm just pulling out live ammunition out of here. It says I've got, I want some, yeah. So the rifle came with the scope, 1 magazine, and the rifle, obviously, in a box, and some instructions. And this is 10-round detachable, so like this isn't so inconvenienced to load. You know, it's not like a Remington 700 that doesn't have a detachable floor plate where you got to shuck each round in, and it can kind of be a little bit tight in there for my fat thumbs. And you literally smack a mag in and rock smack a magazine out of it, and then rock a magazine in and charge it, and it's pretty easy to charge, you know. So and those, I thought those magazines used to be pretty cheap, and I think they were back in the day, but today they're from Century, they're $100 a piece. You can buy plastic magazines that work for them, but they're $40 a piece. So yeah, yeah, here we go. No, that's another cartridge. So leave me alone! Leave me alone! People won't leave me alone. Yeah, here's how it's shooting. So basically, I bought this, and I was looking on the internet for every video I could find and trying to consume as much information about them as I could. Because I kind of watched a little bit of videos before I bought it, but it was just as an entertainment factor, because, you know, fucking gun dude a little bit, but used to be bigger into it. But and they said that the 100 and anything heavier than 150 grain, or the regular machine gun rounds, will kind of damage the rifle. Oh, sorry, shaky camera deluxe. Sorry, and you just disassembles just like an AK, you know. You back up, out with the safety off. This comes backwards, turn it, comes straight out. It even looks like, you know, oversized AK. But what I had done, what they said is it's supposedly it's over gassed, supposedly, right? So what I had done is I had the gunsmith attach one of these K&S precision pistons on it, and I was out there futzing with it. And it's got the small hole in it, which is probably a little too small for it, because all the way opened up, it actually short strokes about half the action, and I've got it videoed. But yeah, so and I replaced that piston with this, so that way I could shoot these, because I really like to shoot these 203 grains ones, or and I could shoot this box of ammunition out of it too and see how it does, because I don't want to be stuck with just 150 grain stuff, because there's not a lot of selection for different variances, because I want to see what this barrel will do, and I want to see what this rifle likes. So I want to see the whole wide range of ammunition that it likes to shoot, which is quite a bit for these rounds, because it's got as much bullet selection as a 30-06 could have, or a 308. But as you can see, that's actually chrome lined. That's a whole chrome lined bore, so that sumbitch will last a long while. You know, that's a hard surface, so you're not going to really wear the chambering out or any of that stuff really easy. I do not shoot corrosive ammunition out of it because of this reason, and I'll put a part 2 to this.